My name is Max Dinenberg, and welcome back to a brand new box office breakdown show here on Max Talks Movies. Today, we're going to break down the domestic box office weekend of December 16th to December 18th, which we had the new release of Avatar: The Way of Water. We're going to break down its box office as well as the top 5 movies of the weekend, as well as we're going to break down the 2022 domestic and worldwide charts and preview this upcoming Christmas box office coming up this upcoming week. As this weekend is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I've done movie review, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, box office breakdown show like this every single week, and movie ranking. So please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, please comment down below. What are your overall thoughts on the box office? Do you think this is a bad number for Avatar? Do you think it will reach at least the $1 billion? Let me know if it gets to that. And also, what did you see this past weekend in theaters, and what are you planning on seeing this upcoming week in theaters? And also, please like the video, guys. The thumbs up button really helps us support this channel more than you think. So if you're here to watch this video, please like the video. They really help support the channel with the algorithms so more people can check out my videos. So let's get into the box office. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. And obviously, it is Avatar: The Way of Water, which had a lot of big shoes to fill, as it was the sequel to the most successful movie of all time, which was the first Avatar, which is still the highest grossing movie to date, just edging out Avengers Endgame. And this is the first time it is basically under the Disney umbrella. Again, it was still under the Fox umbrella when this film came out, but this is obviously, yes, still Fox, but Fox got bought by Disney. So it's really the first time this franchise is finally under, in a movie form, the Disney umbrella. And a lot of expectations were on this film. It was supposed to be like people saying 150, then 175, and 200. It did fall below that. This film opened at $134.1 million for its opening domestic weekend. We'll get to the worldwide in a moment to end this video. Now, this is a very good number. Now, if you compare it to the first Avatar, that's what made the first Avatar so great at the box office, that it wasn't this smash hit right away. It only opened at 77 million domestically. Now, that is, well, obviously, they came out in 2009. There's been a lot of inflation, so that number would change. But at the time, it was not one of the biggest openings of the year. But it only dropped in its second weekend by 2%. And the only time it dropped more than 30% was on its fifth weekend. So this film had great build-up, and I think a lot of people just want, when a movie opens, that's how this movie will be judged by. And it's just, these movies aren't judged when they open on their opening weekend total, unless it's a total bust. This is not a bust for Disney. It's actually a really good number. It is behind it's behind Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, both domestic opening and worldwide opening. And again, everyone's been comparing that because Doctor Strange did not get to $1 billion. Now, I do think there's major differences between the two films. The first is that this film has a lot more positive reception than Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. While the critics haven't been as unanimous as the fans are, and it's sitting at 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score is an A from Cinema Score, which is really great, and the Rotten Tomatoes audience score is 93%. So it seems like the word of mouth on this movie is fantastic. The idea of seeing this on a premium screen is in very high demand, as most theaters really only have one theater for the most part in their entire theater, that is IMAX. Which is a big help. So I think the word of mouth, I think, is much better than Doctor Strange. I think the other reason why this film, I think, will surpass Doctor Strange in general is because Doctor Strange came out at the beginning of summer, where there was a lot of competition throughout Doctor Strange's entire run, especially in the family demographic. There really isn't anything close to a major big release that will really halt Avatar out of the #1 spot at the box office until all the way in February, until we get to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. There just isn't any big releases. So really, Avatar: The Way of Water is sitting in really a 1.5 to 2 month hole here, where they are the biggest movie in town, which I think will open its up that what else are people going to see in the theater? They'll see this movie. And another reason why is that people love this movie, and I think will go back and see this movie on the big screen. I think people who maybe didn't see it on the big screen or couldn't get tickets to see it on the big screen are going to be patient, and they're going to wait for their theaters to open up, because again, nothing is hitting IMAX anytime soon. Avatar will continue to get all of the premium screens for a long time now. So I do think that also helps Avatar moving forward. But I do believe the one issue is that, the premium screens aren't as they aren't at every single movie theater, and they're not at a lot of movie theaters. And I do believe that, and it's also the most expensive ticket to see a movie just for even one person. Seeing a movie in IMAX 3D is closing in on around 17, but sometimes really $20 for people, especially in my area, LA. If you don't have any of those rewards from AMC or Regal or any of those theater chains, you're paying a pretty expensive ticket, especially if you're going with a family, because this is obviously a kids' film for Disney. It's a pretty expensive ticket if you don't even include concessions. So I think that's another thing that could halt this movie. I do believe that it will get to $1 billion. The question is how quickly will it get there? And I'm very fascinated in the drops, especially the next couple of weeks, because again, the first movie barely had any drops, 2%. That's a very high bar. I don't think it'll get to that. But the question is, if it's below 50, I think Avatar: The Way of Water is going to be in really good shape, maybe even below 40, be in really good shape to post big numbers, especially here domestically. Because of Avatar: The Way of Water, its release, it pretty much knocked everything below. Actually, it's the only movie above 10 million, because the rest of the films are all below $5.5 million for the weekend. So it took a massive hit on the overall box office, including 6 through 10 this week at the box office are all below $1 million. So Avatar took basically all of the screens and took advantage of that. So in second place, the first time it's dropped out of the top, out of the number one spot, is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And shockingly already, it's crazy, it's a sixth weekend for Wakanda Forever. It makes 5.3. It's a 52% drop, and it's up to 418.9 million domestic. We'll talk about where that stands. But again, really good numbers for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, but not like the first film. This film will not be able to more likely reach $1 billion. The first one was a juggernaut in February of 2018. And this film, there's a lot of reasons why, but this film will not be able to get to $1 billion. We'll talk about that in just a second. But good numbers for Black Panther, but it was not the juggernaut that the first film was. Again, Avatar is from Fox, which is Disney, and Black Panther is from Disney. There's 3 Disney films, really 4 technically, on this chart. So I can't wait to keep getting into that, because Fox and then Disney. Now let's go to Universal, which is Violent Night. Violent Night's in its third weekend at the box office, makes $5 million, about $300,000 below Black Panther. 42% drops up to 35 million. Really good numbers, actually, for David Harbour and Violent Night. This is not made for a lot of money, so they're definitely going to make their money back. And I'm very interested to see if they choose to put Violent Night on Peacock in the next week or so, because obviously Christmas is coming up, and this movie has much more legs at the box office when Christmas ends. So we'll see when Violent Night will get pushed onto PVOD or Peacock, but very good numbers for a very underrated film. I had a blast with Violent Night. In fourth place is Disney's Strange World, which is in its fourth weekend. It makes $2 million. It's a 42% drop. 2.2 for Strange World. Its domestic total is up to 33.7. Just embarrassing numbers for Strange World. Obviously, it came out, right in that Thanksgiving week, and that did not really help its chances at all. Now, because of the issues that Strange World has been having in theaters, it has been absolutely rushed, very similar to Encanto, right to Disney Plus before Christmas. Strange World got a release date this past weekend. It will release with no extra charge on Disney Plus on Friday the 23rd, which is basically exactly a month after its initial release in theaters. Now, Encanto, I think a lot of people don't remember, was over $100 million domestic, but it was not a juggernaut for Disney. That's why they put it on Disney Plus, and it became a juggernaut because it was on Disney Plus. It'll be really interesting to see how the Strange World will probably dip really far back in the box office as it hits Disney Plus for free on Friday. But it'll be interesting to see, tracking the numbers, if this movie connects to some sort of audience on the streaming service. And then wrapping up the top 5, this is also from Fox Searchlight, which is now Disney. So Disney technically is under the umbrella of 4 of the 5 movies this week. That is The Menu, It makes 1.6 in its fifth weekend, 41% drop. It's up to 32 million. So again, solid numbers for the menu. As it will probably be hitting PVOD very, very soon. And that wraps up this week's top 5 domestically. When we look at the overall chart this year, domestically, Top Gun Maverick is still number 1. That is the one to beat, though. 718 million. The question is, could Avatar: The Way of Water catch that? We shall see. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever jumps to number 2. It overtakes Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So domestically, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is the biggest movie of the year for the MCU this year. As now it's just $7 million over Doctor Strange's 411. Jurassic World Dominion is number 4, 376. Minions: The Rise of Gru is number 5 of 369. Getting up to 369.3 is The Batman at number 6. Thor: Love and Thunder drops to number 7 with 343. Then we get to the 190s with Sonic at 190, Black Adam at 167. Elvis at 151. That's the top 10. Uncharted is kicked out of the top 10. It's at 148. Avatar: The Way of Water in just its opening weekend is at number 12 with 134. Those are also taken in the Monday number. So is at number 12 in just one weekend. So by the time I talk to you next week, Avatar will be inside the top 8 at the box office at least. Nope is at number 13 with 123. Lightyear's at 118. Smile at 105, and The Lost City is at 105 as well. So right now, with Avatar: The Way of Water, it makes it the 16th, and Bullet Train's at 103. So 17 movies this year have made $100 million, and I do not believe that will be changing for the remainder of the year. We'll keep track of it. So far, as we're heading into the last 2 weekends of December, we only have 17 movies now hitting over $100 million. And we get to the worldwide box office numbers. Top Gun is still at 1.4 billion. Jurassic World Dominion's at 1 billion. Doctor Strange got to 952, did not get to the $1 billion mark. Minions: The Rise of Gru is at 938 worldwide. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever leaps the Batman to get into the top 5 worldwide. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever up to 775 worldwide. So 2 of the top 5 movies now this year worldwide are MCU films, with the Batman number 6 of 775. That was knocked out of the top 5. Thor: Love and Thunder is number 7 of 760. And then just on its opening worldwide weekend, Avatar: The Way of Water is already the 10th highest grossing film of the year worldwide with 441. So it's almost already at $500 million in just one weekend. So huge numbers. This will be the story of the box office really for the next 2 months, as we continue to build towards that release of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is kind of the next big film. Again, Disney getting its competition in. So coming up this week, though, it is the Christmas week, and there's a couple movies hitting theaters throughout the week. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish from Universal will be hitting theaters on Wednesday to get ahead of the December 23rd Christmas weekend release. So Puss in Boots will be hitting theaters on Wednesday. Hitting the theaters Friday will be, in limited release, will be the Oscar film Women Talking, but wide releases is for Damien Chazelle's Babylon. So 2 straight weeks with a movie over 3 hours. We'll see how Babylon does at the box office. And then the Whitney Houston biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody, is also hitting theaters this upcoming week. Kind of the last movies coming out in 2022 that are big releases. So that is this weekend's box office. We're going to keep track of Avatar: The Way of Water. More reviews are coming. This past week, I've already done reviews of non-spoiler and spoiler for Avatar: The Way of Water. I'll have a review tomorrow for the show Wednesday on Netflix. Tons of reviews, including Puss in Boots, coming up. So please subscribe to the bell. I'll see you guys soon.